Welcome to another of our series of interviews with prominent industry associations to discuss sustainability and the impact on the industry. A really big thank you and welcome to Jesse Van Sass, Secretary General at FIDI. Welcome and thank you, Jesse.
Thank you for having me, Paul. Great to be here.
Jesse, perhaps we could start with the first question, which is, how is the industry moving forwards? How is FIDI moving forwards on sustainability? And, how are you actively collaborating within the industry as well?
It's a good question, Paul, and one we always like to start with. I would love to tell you that FIDI has been busy with this for the past few decades, and it's probably not true, meaning it's been on our agenda and we've pushed us forward every now and then. But funny enough, up until like 3 years ago, we always got the response back, not only from our members, but also even from corporate customers saying, it's not on the agenda, it's not a big thing, it's not that important. And all of a sudden you see now how the needle is moving and it becomes very important. And when that happens, when there's an urgency, people tend to get very fast in their decisions and they make great, fantastic political statements and then apply some quick fix solutions to it to make sure that they become more sustainable, or at least perceived more sustainable. And that's something that we should not be doing, obviously, but it's quite human that people do that. Now, FIDI, we believe we can play a role in this. We are a not-for-profit association, so we have no commercial interests, obviously. We can be that platform in that moving and relocation industry where we try to gather people to identify impactful solutions and draft a kind of, perhaps a common roadmap for the whole industry, where every stakeholder can acknowledge more or less what their responsibilities are, what their actions could be, and to keep it also really pragmatic, relatable, and realistic, because we are working with operational companies, movers, DSP companies. They need to be able to understand it and apply those big principles into their daily business. So how do we do that? Well, first of all, we try to break down all those complex concepts like sustainability targets or the UN SDGs. We try to break them down into tangible, relatable action items. And for that, we've actually developed a guidelines for movers, sustainability guidelines, and not top down, but bottom up, saying, hey guys, these are little things that you can do. And these are examples from the industry on what you can do. Apart from doing that, you need to raise the awareness and provide education, of course, which we do as well. But also, and I think that's most important, is that we're not alone in this. Everything is connected to each other somehow. So FIDI can't do it on its own, like any mover can't do it on its own. And as a matter of fact, there's many other associations in this whole relocation business that should be involved as well. So we're trying to create that platform now, and we tried doing that during our conference just a month ago in Cannes, where we gathered not only representatives for the corporate customers, the major RMCs, but also other associations in the relocation atmosphere, like FIDI, of course, Omni, Jura, ERC, Harmony, the FIDI 39 Club. We try to gather them all and try to come to a kind of common platform. Where can we find common values in sustainability and relocation? Because it's a bit of the Wild West out there right now. So these are the three things that we try to do, breaking it down bottom up to tangible targets for the movers, for the DSPs, raise the awareness by education, and then top down try to involve all other stakeholders in the global mobility to see if we can have a kind of common approach to this huge problem.
Yeah, thank you, Jesse. And I think yourselves and your collaboration you mentioned with other associations has been fantastic. The document that you and your colleagues produced was an excellent start. And it's always hard, as we know, just to start something and put pen to paper. So it was an excellent start.
Great, thanks.
Your members are global. What actions have you seen that your members, have taken? Some may be historic; they took a long time ago. Some may be recent. But which ones have particularly impressed yourselves?
Well, it's funny that you asked that. Movers are a bit in the spotlight here, because movers they operate trucks, they use materials, packing materials. So we're a bit in the spotlight here, saying, hey guys, you're the polluters, basically. Of course, we are not alone. We use those materials, we use those trucks, we use our carbon footprint because our customers tell us to do so. So they're involved as well, and we have a supply chain that works with us as well. So we're not alone in this. But one interesting realization which we saw during those exercises that we did on sustainability guidelines is that often the smaller companies in less developed countries already have solutions in place, very often without realizing that it's all part of a sustainability strategy somehow. So it was interesting to see that. And we don't know why that is, obviously, but to name an example, ever since I've been in moving, this is over 20 years, we've always been reusing cartons and materials all the time. So that's already a sustainability strategy. Whether you did that because of time, money saving, I don't know, but it was certainly sustainable. But what we see lacking in general is more that formal, that structured plan with clear metrics and KPIs and a roadmap. But there are some great best practice examples in the report, and there's some of them are very, very small, like replacing all the single-use plastics with ceramic crockery in the moving company, eliminating plastic drinks, making furniture from reclaimed pallet wood is something that one of our affiliates has done as well, and they involve their staffing with it to make sure that they make recyclable materials, that they use that all the time for local projects. What they certainly did, and which I think is most important, is that you involve the community somehow. So a moving company anywhere in the world can involve its community, its local suppliers, and try to have a local impact, including staff and customers as well. I think the latter is not being done enough. Like I said, we do a move or you do a DSP because a corporate customer or a customer tells you to. You need to involve that customer as well. If a customer says, I want 10 cubic meters of household goods to go into a 20-foot container, FCL, meaning a single use, because that's the best way to do it, that's great. But you mean 2/3 of that container will be empty and will be traveling empty. So maybe it's time as well that you speak to the customers and try to see, hey guys, this doesn't really work. This is not very sustainable. You should look at groupage or consolidating that, which is perhaps maybe not the way you want it done, but that makes sense to do this sometime. So this is are some of the examples that they do in the affiliate space. I think they're doing a great job. We're very proud of them, and you can read that in that report as well. Many of the examples that they do.
Yeah, it's fantastic, Jesse, and I completely agree. And let's face it. I mean, today, you can have a move that reduce the carbon footprint by, say, easily 50–60%, and reduce the waste by 80% purely, as you say, by using groupage. It wouldn't work on all traffic lanes, but it would work on a lot. And reusing materials. But the industry can come up with this and do it today, tomorrow, but this is working with global mobility, because unless it's acceptable to the employee and it's worked through and there's value identified in some of the potential downsides of that, it won't be acceptable. So I think it's this this hand in hand, the acceptability has to be worked on, the mindset shift, as well as the actual practical action. So I hope global mobility contacts out there, they take this on board and engage more with their providers and with yourselves in the associations as well. And just break this link between growth and waste, which is out there, which can easily be done. Absolutely, but you need to talk about it. And like you said, it's changing mindsets. And I think we've been reluctant to speak to the customers and perhaps to the supply chain as well about this, but we need to start doing that right now. We're getting pushed from everywhere, after all, from all directions. So politically, there's push. There's from the economical side, obviously, well, your customers are giving you a push. Personal push. I mean, at home, my children look me into the eye and say, hey, how are you more sustainable in what you do at work? So the push is everywhere, and the pressure is rising. So stuff needs to happen now. Yeah, I totally agree with you. I love your passion for this as well, Jesse, and the passion your colleagues and other associations have. Could you share a little bit on your future goals at FIDI? What's coming to push the agenda forwards? Well, we're, like everybody knows, we're actually, although this has been on the agenda for many, many years, we're still in the discovery phase because of that urgency we have right now. We're trying to figure out what to do and who will have to do what. And again,
there is a tendency to go for quick wins and to even go for greenwashing. And there's plenty of cowboys right now in the sustainability world, and it's a bit of Wild West out there with people offering all kind of lovely tools to measure and benchmark and offset right away through their projects. That's great, but that's not really what we should be doing. What we need now is a common plan, a roadmap with common references, with consistency, with pragmatism. Now, again, we are in a good position to play that pivotal role. And the short-term goals for us would be more education, more awareness, following the principle of sharing best practice and ideas, which what we're doing right now. Whatever we do on those documents that we've produced, we share them widely everywhere, not just for FIDI or for FIDI affiliates. We're working together with Omni. We've got our project going with Jura as well at the same time, particularly to education. So through doing that, we're going to kind of make those complex concepts a bit easier to understand, to demystify them, if you like, and make it real and relatable. You know, like I said, it's very complex. It's a kind of a big shift right now, and that's why we have to work together with our global mobility customers. Their customers, they've got their scope 1 and scope 2 more or less covered right now, and now they're focusing on scope 3, which is the supply chain, which are the movers, DSPs. So their scope 3 is our scope 1 and our scope 2, and that's where we need to focus on. But we've got a scope 3 as well. So it's all connected with each other. We have to work together. But on the long term, we hope that we can kind of structure through the platform that we are creating right now with other associations and with RMCs, therefore representing customers, to find that constructive common approach somehow and develop a industry roadmap with all global mobility stakeholders. You know, one of our 39 Club members said to us during that conversation that we had with all the associations and RMCs, so, you know, I think we all realize that this is a long journey, that we're going to go there somehow, but we got to walk fast. Long journey, walk fast. I think this is the perfect, that sums it all up. There's a long journey ahead. We have to think about it, but we got to act fast. We got to move forward right now.
Yeah, I love that. That's really fantastic. And as you say, you know, the roadmap that you're creating with others as well. And I think you're really giving this a common sense of purpose. The different companies going at different speeds in different countries, you know, will feel happy and positive to join, even though they're taking different actions at different times. And I think that's so powerful what you and others are doing. And really for global mobility professionals, you know, that there is a lot of positivity coming from the mobility and particularly from the household goods world. It's you know, there's a positive future for the industry, but as you say, it needs to change. It needs to walk fast, which it's starting to do.
Absolutely.
Jesse, thank you so much for sharing you know, the insightful work that FIDI are doing and the collaboration you're taking forward as well.
Thank you as well for your involvement, Paul. We always can reach out to you. We know if we need some backup documentation and some good advice, we reach out to you and appreciate that.
Thank you, Jesse.
Thank you.